See, now we have a situation coming up on our hands. Tomorrow, the companies, the privatization will be complete on the handing over of the power companies. So, nobody knows if such a clause is, actually attached in their agreement. And like I had this argument with you some time ago, and you actually said that that's what they should be doing now to prevent something like this from happening. What happened with the telecommunications company and some of this oil and gas companies from listing on the exchange. So if they put such a clause now in their proposals or their agreement, will it ensure that we have most of them coming on the floor even before they begin to rake in all the billions and decide?
Of course, that is the right thing for any economic management team to do. You cannot blame the stock exchange or the SEC for that. That has to come from the economic policy management team. That okay, we are about unlocking 45 billion because if you look at the power sector, the discourse I would say is about 6 billion capital base there. If you look at the cost of each of the 11 of them, then if we were to generate up about 40,000 megawatts, right, it's like $1 million to megawatts. So 40,000 about 40 billion. So add 40 plus 6 about $45 billion. And
so we're getting closer to the $1 trillion.
But is it really in that agreement with them that okay, perhaps once you are currently on 200 megawatts, the guy buying maybe Sapele, and once you get from 200 and you eat 300, you must be listed on the Nigerian capital market. You see, nobody is saying you must sell your shares, but there are little things, and government must now match that with some incentives. Okay, I'm giving you 5 years tax waivers now, but if you are listing on the Nigerian capital market, you get additional 5 years tax waivers.
Do you agree with this line of argument?
There's a difference between wishful thinking and practical exposition.
So let's look at the practicalizing.
And in Nigeria, we oftentimes behave like the Americans, whereby we exhaust all the positive, all the negative things before we come back to the right thing, rather than do all the right things before going to the negative ones. If you look at, you mentioned Sapele, take Ugeli for example, and Transcorp wanted to raise money. It did a rights issue, and it got some money. Now, the question is this. If you look at the money market, who can fund? Can the Nigerian money market fund those assets? No.
No, because they're not structured to fund.
So the only person who can fund would have to be the capital market. Your pensions market is not so deep. You have to do it through the capital market. So it makes plain common sense to see how to go and approach the capital market and say, what products or what means can we create to make it easier for you? This 15 power companies will require 8 to 10.
About 14 because one made 14 because one made quite complete.
14, about 8 to 10 million dollars every year to keep it running. Where is that funding going to come from? Obviously, it should be able to come from the capital market. But is there an enabling structure to allow you to do so? Maybe we can at least have some hope, whereby Forte mentioned to the capital market that they will be bringing in Geregu one into the mix. If they bring it into the market mix, it may be made from what we call those showcase transactions that enable people to see.
Flagship.
Yeah, like a flagship that enable people to see how it works. Look, we must understand one thing, that this thing would have to move. We have to go through paces. The challenge we, however, have is that those building blocks to achieve those goals require consensus from, like I said, capital market policies and fiscal policies, which for some reasons we've been talking about for about 2 years now. We missed one opportunity with the power companies. There are other areas of the privatization program which we still have to look into, which we can all learn. One must give credit to the journey we've passed through in terms of our post-financial crisis, both from the way the monetary authorities manage it, both from the way the regulators manage it, but from the way the NSE has gone about doing the work. If you look at where we're coming from, whereby we had the era of the hot money syndrome, which I dare say, given the dynamics of the Nigerian economy, it's always with us anyway. But if you have hot money like what you had in Brazil, where people move capital into an economy because there's a fast money, there's a bubble in there, people will come in because they need to make returns and go out of it. the whole challenge, what the NSE and Co have been doing is trying to build a foundation whereby businesses are much more governed in a proper way. Activities are done in a much more better way.
Transparent.
You understand? And so you would have less incidents of that. Where you find out money is whereby people come into a particular stock and move in, stay in there, and then they can get in and get out very easily. And there are different variations of it. But our capital market has come a long way. I think in spite of all what anybody may say, they should be commended.
All right.
And even in this drive of moving forward, and we say with all this power sector, look, we need money, we need inflow.
Okay, so would the demutualization actually help in
a different argument entirely?
So if I could if I add something to the old money issue, you see, old money, you have to take it in the context of the economy.
All right.
There are some investments that are called irreversible investments.
Okay.
You brought in money into the country to build a factory, right? Even if you're taking money back the next day, the factory is there. Right?
Exactly.
So you must look at that's why the fiscal policy and the monetary policy, the convergence have to be, and the government will have to look at the entire economy. If, for instance, there were a lot of hot money coming to Nigeria, the hot money is for a purpose. One is not for corruption. One is done for money laundering. I don't see how it's going to hurt the economy. Once the key issue now is for the investment bankers, for the operators, and for the regulators to ensure that this money is now being used for proper utilization of developing the economy, e.g., factory expansion and all similar kind of things. So if that is what the old money is coming in to do, then it becomes okay. But if it's to fund corruption, money laundering, that's why it is.
Okay, so
just a little thing. If you look at it really, let's go back to the power sector example again. The money required, most of the funding came from outside. Maybe the banks were able to, the local banks, and they did quite a lot of job, maybe about 30 to 40 in some cases in terms of the financing with it. But most of them also had to go get funding outside in the first place as well. So if you extend it further, there's also the problem of mobilization. You know, the argument for CBN of financial inclusion, getting the funds. They do not have so much money available themselves enough to even expand credits. So they can only go for these big ticket deals, which they cannot fully fund themselves. So at any point in time, to grow this economy, we will need.
You always have to go back to the capital market.
Yeah.